Okay, welcome to part 2 of Sonic Riders for like this mini-series going on. I don't know, I was bored and I wanted to play this really. We're going to be going through this bit playing as Tails this time. The first time we were Sonic, of course. I mean, given the fact that most Sonic games, you know, you're going to start as Sonic the Hedgehog. And in this one or so, I'm basically going to be explaining about the differences that the characters have. You see, if you were like looking at like the first one when I was Sonic the Hedgehog, what happened was you'll notice that I grinded all about the place really, because when you jump and then you click X again as soon as you're about to hit the rail, that is when Sonic will perform a grind. However, each character has its own sort of element going on, you know. In this case, Tails, when I go over this ramp here, allows him to fly, you know. So it's basically a way where each character has its own set of elements or so to get around the levels. And I believe Knuckles as well is a power type, meaning he can smash through stuff. And you can use that to your advantage, you know, to find shortcuts for these characters. You can even come back to these levels and play them as different characters and find new shortcuts that way. Like, you know, the first one I played in the previous part, which was Metal City. You can become Tails and then just find alternative ways flying about the place, or Knuckles trying to smash through the cars, you know. And also, when you do get that boost, like, whacked up to the full, that is the best thing ever, if you ask me, because then it just means you'll get plenty of boost time, you know, and you don't really have to worry about your air, because that is a key thing also to this game. Like, there is a lot to take in this, you know, with this game, and I can understand why people don't really like this game half the time, but like I say, it takes some practice, you know. It's that kind of game to me, really. With a bit of practice after a while, you hopefully will enjoy this game, and it will just get fun. I mean, even people like, Cad Icarus had the same sort of experience, where he was the same as me. He played it and then thought it was terrible the first time, but then after a bit of practice and that, he just got better at it, and now he really enjoys the game. So, you know, that's just the thing that I can recommend or so. But if you look at the bottom right or so, you'll notice like this air meter going on. You want to make sure that that does not deplete. If it depletes, it means that your board runs out of air, and then you'll just have to run instead. And then that means you'd have to go to a pit stop and then wait for your air to replenish. So while you are able to boost, you want to use it wisely and strategically, you know. So if you see that your meter is pretty much virtually empty, that is when you know that you shouldn't repress the boost, because I will be doing that from time to time, you know. I mean, since it's full right now, I'm able to use it right here and use up most of it. But that's just the main thing, really. So it's mainly just keep your ring count high, you know, try to get to the highest level possible, and just make sure you don't run out of air, really. And utilize those jumps to your best use, you know. Make sure it goes red as soon as you're about to hit that ramp, release it, and then you will fly high. In fact, I'll explain about it more, you know, when it comes to us watching the tutorial section, because it'll be nice to show that off.
Oh, it's you!
I'll make sure to pay you back for this!
Ha! I let you get away last time, but definitely not today!
Why wait till later, you little punk? I'll pay you back tenfold now!
Huh. Sorry.
What are you doing, you clumsy fool? Was that supposed to be some kind of punch?
Nice try, buddy!
Sorry there. It wasn't my fault. If he hadn't jumped out of the way just now, I would have clobbered.
What?
The race is about to start. All participants, please get to your positions now.
The track, then! We'll settle this there!
Looking forward to it.
Also, a fun little fact. Did you know that at this point in the game where I am, literally 2 levels after that, and we finished the hero's story. I know I could have like finished up this hero's story and stuff, but then I'd have to do another story on top of that, and I might actually save that for when I do a full LP of this. But honestly, I don't know if that would happen, because it's a racing game. I don't really occasionally LP racing games, because I mean, you know, not much else is going on story-wise and stuff and gameplay, really. I mean, sure, there's like the different like character elements and stuff going on, but we're still racing. You know, there's like no difference or anything going on, no like secrets found or anything like that, so there wouldn't really be much to talk about. And I suppose that's why I'm making this into like a one-off kind of series, really. That and I was just, I don't know, I just felt like playing Sonic Riders. I mean, I said about this, you know, when I finished my Metroid Prime Blind LP, I said that I was going to show off Sonic Riders and show off what I like about it. And just, you know, things like that, you know? But still. Also, here's Knuckles' element in that, where what you can do is just bash things out of the way. Honestly, it's probably my least favourite of the bunch. I mainly have fun trying to grind with Sonic. Great, I could have really used other words for that, but never mind. I'm going to keep that in, though. Because mainly, you know, when you're, like, doing that thing with Sonic or so, it's just, it adds for, like, shortcuts going on. All it really does for Knuckles, really, is it allows you to hit things and then gain more air quicker that way. Even Tails, you know, is able to find shortcuts with it. I mean, Knuckles can find shortcuts, but it's just, I don't know. He just mainly knocks things out of the way, really. It's just the fact that when you grind, you literally don't really have to do anything. As soon as you're on that rail, you can just let it just guide you all the way you want. But honestly, I will admit, like, when I talked about how the grinding works, it is a little weird, given the fact that, you know, you literally have to click X, and then just click X, like, literally a second before you hit it. You don't have to click X as soon as you hit the rail. It's literally, like, a second before you hit it, which is, a bit confusing in places, really, and that caught me off guard the first time, I will admit, but still. These are alternative paths, though. Well, the first time I went through there, but if you try to go across that bit, you're able to cut out a whole chunk of it and things. Also, you'll notice, like, through each track or so, sorry about that, I hit the mic there, you'll see, like, this sort of rotating analog stick thing going on. What that basically is when you rotate the analog stick as fast as you can, it makes sure that you guide through it a lot quicker. That happens in pretty much every race. So, you want to keep note of that also, you know, when you're trying to play this game and try to get good at it. Because, you know, I've, like, heard a lot of people and, like, friends basically say, when I tell them of Sonic Riders, they say, yeah, that game sucks because, like, the control was really bad. All I say is really, give it more practice. I mean, I will agree that the drifting is somewhat very fiddly and very annoying to do, and the steering isn't really the best. I mean, from time to time, I'm having to slightly drift in order to actually steer, you know, where I want. I can't literally just rotate the analog stick in any direction I please and stuff, so the control is definitely not perfect, but, you know, I still think it's not really that bad, and just with a bit of practice, it just gets good. It's pretty much the same thing, you know, of, like, the Tony Hawk games. When you practice those combos, and that which were really hard to pull off the first time, eventually they just become, like, second nature, and then you're able to do it. And, that's pretty much all I'm going to show off for the gameplay side of things, really.
Prior to that time.
Ha!
That's cool! Sonic! When did you learn those techniques?
Not very impressive for someone of your reputation. You know, I've checked you out, actually. Not bad. I admit you're pretty fast on your feet. But here, it's a whole different story when riding with extreme gear. You see, to be the fastest on a gear, you have to become one with the wind. Without wings, well, you might as well kiss the ground and go home.
Who does he think he is?
Well, I don't think he's all talk, you know. I better be on my toes during this competition.
I never imagined anyone would enter the race with such a piece of junk.
Sorry, Sonic. I just need to fine-tune a few things, then your extreme gear will be at 100%.
Hey, Tails, you always do your best, so don't worry.
Yeah, but she has a point. She's a really brilliant mecha mechanic. Sonic, don't worry, I'll unlock the secret of the extreme gears for us.
And that's pretty much it for the gameplay that I'm gonna like be showing off or so, which I talked about, you know, before the cutscene. Mainly because I just wanted to show off the different gameplay mechanics, where it's similar to Sonic Heroes, you know, where you have speed, flight, and power. In this case, Sonic can grind, Tails can fly, and Knuckles can basically smash through stuff, pretty much like his usual business, really. And, you know, we're Tails again, really, so there's not really much else to speak of. I mean, what else do you want me to say? I guess we're in the Green Cave. It has a really good music because the soundtrack to this game is freaking awesome, in my opinion. But that's it, really. So what I'm going to do right here or so is just quit and then show off the thing that will help you out or so to making you understand this game better. This is what I personally did, you know, when I played this, like, as a kid back in 2006. In fact, it might have even been 2007? I can't remember because this was yonks ago. This was like over 10 years ago. Oh my god, this game's considered a classic now. Oh boy. But if I go to the extra side of things, and then go onwards to theatre, I think, if I click it or so in a minute, yes, there'll be like this tutorial thing going on. I would be silent and stuff, but honestly there's not really much talking going on, so I might as well just guide you through it and stuff. And when I look at it now, it honestly looks like the sort of thing somebody would make in Sony Vegas nowadays. Learning the basics of Sonic Riders. Sonic Riders is a new type of racing game. Some of the dialogue and that, or at least, you know, just text that you see in this is really like, I don't know, just cringy or cheesy if you ask me, especially with like the red outline going on, you know, like I was saying, it's like some sort of cheap Sony Vegas project, or even like in Premiere Pro of somebody who's just literally got their hands on the piece of software and they're trying to show off like their very first tutorial or something. I don't know, it just reminds me of that anyway. But anyway, the air system in Sonic Riders, press circle to boost. There you go. But be careful, it consumes a lot of air. So that's what I mean, basically it teaches you all the basics. Use this on tight corners. Now this is one thing that I will agree, it did teach you this in the tutorial, but it didn't really teach you it very well. You want to literally try and just hold it down and then just let the character continuously slide and then release it, because then it will give it a boost. This is something that I've got to show off actually, because I honestly rarely use this. If you tap L1 and R1, it releases this tornado in order to, you know, get rid of players who are close behind you when you look at the radar on like the bottom center of the screen. And that's basically just telling you, don't run out of air and stuff. And then, in order to gain it back, you need to perform all these tricks and things. I like how the text is so gigantically big, you know, for this kind of thing going on. And this is from the actual PS2 itself. I don't know if this is the same in the GameCube and Xbox versions, because I don't know. I've never really played those. The one I grew up with is the PS2, and that's the one that I'm playing right now. And there you go, that's the key thing. You want to try and make sure that you run up to the finish line just in time and stuff. You know, just to ensure that you get the best time and boost, really. Because the more you like run at the beginning before when the electric gate goes down, that's the more boost that you get, really. This game is very complicated to explain, I will admit. And there you go, there's all the elements and stuff that it's explaining. And there you go. Now, are you ready? Get ready for the challenge and let the race begin. So that's pretty much how I learnt the basics of Sonic Riders to begin with. Now, as soon as I watched that tutorial, it wasn't, oh yeah, that's it, I've got this down, you know, basically I've got the hang of the game as a whole. It did take some practice, really. And I don't know, I just felt like listening to a bit of music, really. So have a listen to High Flying Groove. It's really cool and reminds me of Prodigy. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Sonic Riders also. So if you like the look of this game, you can pick it up for the PS2, GameCube, or Xbox. And like I said, just practice it also. At first, don't expect you to just get the hang of the controls completely, because just keep doing it and eventually you should get the hang of it. Keep looking at that tutorial, keep note of everything I've said, and you hopefully should enjoy it, because that's what I just find with this game, really. So it's been a fun little mini-series, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And this has been Sonic Riders, obviously. That was pointless saying that, wasn't it?